Hello everyone and welcome to this month's episode of JigRetro. This month's episode is a continuation of my modern retro game series, where we will be looking at a few more amazing retro inspired indie games that have caught my eye recently. I am really excited about this episode because recently I have completed 2 of these video games, and I have to say that although they were incredibly tough, it was such a rewarding experience to play through them. I'm sure my gaming skill has improved a lot just because of 2 of these games on the list today. These games might not be quite as accessible to everyone as games in previous episodes, but you cannot deny how great these games are in style and atmosphere. In contrast, the last game I'll discuss is a really fun and accessible racing title. If you enjoy this content, then please check out my back catalogue of videos, as well as like, share and subscribe to get the latest monthly episodes. I'm so pleased to be excited about video games again, and 90% of what I play nowadays is from the most wonderful and varied indie scene that there is nowadays. We really are living in a fantastic era of gaming, where some super talented developers and creative folk are embracing the past, many of which are clearly fans of retro video gaming themselves, while adding modern conveniences to really flesh out some stunning gaming experiences. Even these games, which on the surface may seem really tough, as you scratch the surface you find the balancing much fairer than video games of the past. Just like my other videos in this series, this is a list of games that absolutely any gaming enthusiast shouldn't miss. Cyber Shadow is an 8-bit style side-scrolling action platformer, somewhat inspired by such games as Ninja Gaiden, Batman for the NES and Shatterhand for the NES. In a stunning example of talent, the game was on the whole developed by one man, Arnie Hunsaker, of the one-man team Mechanical Head Studios. His first game development experience was modding and hacking old original NES titles, perhaps adding his own main characters or enemies etc. into pre-existing games. Large levels are broken down by smaller sections with save stations with the ability to upgrade some extra abilities if you are struggling. With that said, most sections are very tough, even when fully equipped with all the extras. Unless you are a veteran of these super tough NES style games, then you will be dying a lot in this game until you have learned and perfected each section, especially in the second half of the game where it is just brutal fun. The game runs like one large interwoven world, and although it is a pretty linear experience, occasional backtracking is required. Fair warning, this game is extremely tough. The large section before the game's main boss, for example, came really close to me shattering my Switch over my knee in fury. Although this in turn makes progress old school rewarding fun, and the quick loading into the section keeps your desire to progress white hot. Although HowLongToBeat.com suggests an 8-hour completion time for this game, it took me much closer to the 20-hour mark. This is probably more representative of my personal skill level at these types of games than anything else though. Blasphemous is essentially a Metroidvania style game with Dark Souls elements, developed by a Spanish studio called The Game Kitchen. The aesthetic and atmosphere in this game is exactly what I want in a game. It really does feel like you are playing something truly evil and ominous as you play through it. The graphical style for this game I find to be absolutely stunning. This is a game that I have just recently finished. I know that it has been out for some time, but I found myself giving up on it for quite a while as I felt lost in the map and died far too regularly to progress, and quickly found myself losing all enjoyment. But after learning a couple of things about this game, I had another push at it and honestly ended up enjoying every minute of this fantastic game. The first thing is that dying basically doesn't matter whatsoever. Just keep pushing on, opening up as much of the map as possible and as thoroughly as possible. Also, unlike most Metroidvanias, you're about as powerful as you're ever going to be from the start of the game. so you would better learn the combat quirks quickly. The combat is a little tough and frustrating at first, but fairly quickly you will be blocking, parrying and sliding behind your enemies, and again this doesn't change throughout the game. The bosses most certainly have come from a mind of someone who needs urgent psychological assessment. This title is much more of a challenge than other traditional Metroidvania games, but I personally consider it a must play providing you have a lot of patience. HowLongToBeat.com again suggests 13 hours for the basic completion, yet again my personal playthrough was much longer at 22 hours. Finally, for a much more chilled out and less hardcore game, we have Hotshot Racing. This game is just fun. A real gem of a racing game that harks back to such classics as virtual racing in terms of aesthetic, and Outrun 2 because of the similarity in its drift and its slipstream mechanic. Developed by Lucky Mountain Games in partnership with Sumo Studio, the music is great and fits the game well. Single player is a wonderful pick up and play advantage, ideal for a quick blast, and I'm so grateful that I finally have such a fantastic racer to play with up to 4 buddies in sofa multiplayer. This game is simple enough for anyone to pick up and have a lot of fun with, and although the rubber banding, where the further back you are from first place the quicker you will catch up, feels almost uncomfortably unrealistic, it makes even the most mundane races much more exciting. I hope you have enjoyed this look into a few fantastic indie titles that have caught my eye recently. I highly recommend all 3 for you to check out. Until next time, much love, please look after yourselves and each other and get your geek on with JigRetro.